What's up? Thank you for passing by. My name is Phil and I am from Mints and Drops. Today on the show, on the mic, I have the pleasure to speak up with my brother Maximilian from Heliswap, the company that took the ecosystem by surprise, by a wave, by thunderstorm. Last September, they're coming in for DeFi. They have amazing partners such as Creamy Cyber, Hedera, Hash3. They got it on lock. Amazing plan onwards. Lots of info, lots of alpha, education, everything. The whole set. Check it out. Max from Heliswap, thank you so much for taking the time tonight, today, this afternoon, this morning to join us in this show. How are you, brother?
Very good. Thank you for having us. For us, it's actually in the morning over here. It's 10 a.m. in Hong Kong. So
yeah,
good morning.
How's this, man? How's this journey has been, man, for you?
You mean the Heliswap journey for now in general?
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We've been working really hard on developing our dApp over the past months together with LimeChain, which is our tech partner. And yeah, building on Hedera, let's say it's not the easiest in the world because it's just simply not the basic EVM code. And I think most dApp builders, most builders on Hedera will agree with me that there are surprises that you hit on the road, but we're very happy and we worked really hard to launch our product in October. And now, yeah, we're building it out. We're finding use cases. We've launched our token. So it's been a very fast-paced journey with a lot of surprises, but also really, really good days in between. So that's kind of where we are.
Sure. Is that and what's your 9 to 5 usually? Where you come from in terms of what was your fiat mining, as I call it, before or right now even?
Oh, personally, so most of my career I was working in HP, Hewlett Packard, in one of their let's call it a startup or scaling startup in the 3D printing business. So like kind of tackling a traditional industry, trying to revolutionize manufacturing with 3D printing, which is kind of where this interest came in, also in like innovative technologies, going out into DeFi and trying to revolutionize TradFi to some extent, changing the way things are done, changing the ways that we think about, for example, manufacturing or doing finance, right? So this is kind of, so my background is trying to disrupt, if you will. So I was doing different roles on the business side, leading a marketing team, etc., doing a lot of business development. Yeah, and then this led me back to school, advancing a bit on the business side, doing a postgraduate degree, and then going full-time into crypto, so making the hobby kind of a full-time job.
Yeah. That's, and we often have like a calling or something, you know, when you get it, you know. And but why DeFi? Because you're somewhat of a disruptor. Why DeFi? Why did you venture in this, and what's the angle?
So if you think about it, DeFi is a way to give access to the financial system to people who generally would not have access, or who see obstacles in going through a bank, maybe even people who don't want to have a lot of fiat money on their bank accounts, who can get access to the financial system of DeFi, right? Obviously, it's not a direct copy of traditional finance, but they're able to, and just to name one example, right? So in Argentina, where you have this hyperinflation to their currency, their local currency into stable coins, right? And they keep their value, for example, and they can use DeFi to secure themselves, their families, etc. And this is just one aspect or one example of how DeFi can give access to people who otherwise would not be able to participate. And I think in the future, those barriers that have been built by traditional finance, like the fact that it's hard for, let's say, someone in Colombia to invest in US bonds, for example, right? These type of barriers will eventually break down. And the only way that this can happen is if we push DeFi forward, if we show as like users of crypto that DeFi has come to stay, and that traditional finance needs to really incorporate it in their service offering rather than going against it, right? And this is happening. You've seen lots of large banks starting their own. Some of them have started a crypto fund. Others started to investigate. So you really see that we've reached a level where DeFi cannot be ignored anymore. And I'm really excited about being like a small part of this journey, kind of working on DeFi for Hedera, because we also believe strongly in Hedera as like a backbone for it. And hopefully in a few years, we have really shown, or we have taken DeFi itself to the moon together with all the other projects and DEXs out there that are trying to do the same thing.
It really goes, it really goes with the people that you know, right? With the partners. I think when you embark inside this journey, especially when many people don't even know what that is, let alone crypto, let alone even we're going to talk about later on with NFTs and whatnot. But if you talk about DeFi's, I mean, it's got to be with partners. And from what I remember, you've entered the ecosystem, by making elite partners, like Heli Squad, like Creamies, like Koalas, like Dovu, like Hash3, and with such fashion, that to me, right away, I was like, oh, okay, these guys are serious. These guys, they're coming in. They got the right angle and they got the right message. If not, all those people would have said, hey, no, bro, I'm just carrying it on, right?
That's for sure. I mean, so on Hedera, something that we realized when so just to give like a little bit more background for those who don't know. So Heliswap is actually a joint venture between Mantra, which used to be Mantra DAO, and LimeChain. And those companies have been working together, successfully building multi-chain dApps for Polygon, BNB, Ethereum, right? So we did have this desire to build on Hedera, looking at the advantages that the underlying DLT actually brings, and then realized that things are a little bit different on Hedera than they would have been building, for example, another dApp on Ethereum, which is that because of some limitations to Hedera itself, to the tech stack, a lot of the early users of Hedera are actually very community-focused NFT projects, for example, right? Who have used kind of the advantage of the low fees, etc., to build themselves a community that can successfully trade and use their NFTs and utility. So entering the space as a newcomer, it was really important to us to talk to exactly those communities, get them involved, have conversations, do things together to activate also the community. And on that regard, what we found out together with, for example, the Koala Hat Club and others is that, and Cyber Hedera, just to name a few, is that those communities that have been like early adopters of Hedera, they're not necessarily very DeFi savvy, because they came for different reasons onto the blockchain, right? More artsy, etc., or collectors. So what we've been doing, or why we've been working with this project, is because we want to bring DeFi to their users. We want to explain it. We want to show them how to do it. So this kind of our mission here at the moment on Hedera is to not just be a platform, but to also be kind of an educator, which is why we have built an academy on our website, giving very simple explanations on different DeFi products. And that has worked very well. And together with our partners, we have gone down the road of doing exploring different ways of getting DeFi out there and making it more known. So we have like our own Heli Dazzle Duck NFT, which we did with the Dazzle Ducks community, which is just, it started as a gimmick. We gave it out for liquidity providers. Then now we're going to give some Heli tokens to the owners of this Dazzle Duck. So it somehow it just grew in popularity until it showed up on the Zeus market in like position 12 of like trending projects. So that was really fun for us to see how strong also the community is on Hedera, and how much value comes from the community. So that's why our focus with the NFT projects, bringing Koala Hash Club on board, Cyber Hedera, Little Universe, Creamies, that was really important to us. And it also, is part of our strategy, right? So it's, instead of just chasing high PVLs and giving amazing rewards to anyone, because this is easy to participate in, what we want to build around Heliswap is a community that kind of learns DeFi together, grows, makes it better. And for that, of course, the partners you mentioned are super important to us. And we have a few more exciting things coming up now. We've already published this a little bit. So our next collaboration on the NFT space will be with Hedera. We have a really cool image or an NFT image there that was designed or created by the creative mind of Hedera, which is an amazing guy. He's super fast,
Big shout
super
out
good,
to
and
Van Gogh.
yeah,
Yeah, big shout out to Hedera. Yeah.
exactly.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's happening soon. So we can send you one over as well. Just
Yeah, for
drop me
sure.
your wallet later.
Yeah, with pleasure,
Yeah.
man. Of course. I'm down for it. I'm down for it because I see it. I see in the past, and again, I say this in every single interview where I'm in front of somebody that's light years away in terms of tech as me. I'm the least tech guy, which means that I am pretty much your target audience in many ways because me, I'm all about this is my candy, right, Max? So I wanted to, how do you think mass adoption and all this thing will get to my aunt, my friend out there life, who doesn't know about crypto? He only knows about Bitcoin, whatever. Because for me, on this platform, ease of use, of course, is undeniable. I've had lots of fun. Of course, I'm staking my KHK over at Koala. Moving forward, it's really fun. And I'm not saying this because you're there. I've said this before. It's simple. And I'm also doing a UX class right now, UI UX class. So I see the ropes and it's efficient. That being said, what part in all of this will you play, and how do you think you will play this part in terms of, damn, you say your friends out there or the ones who do not know about even DeFi, but how do you bring this whole momentum with you and get them to be in need of such technology?
Yeah, I think most of the people watching this video right now, when you said this, a person came to their mind, right? Like the mother or the aunt or the grandmother, and it's like we've all tried to explain crypto before or DeFi or the aspect of the blockchain and how it is transparent. And we really quickly hit this barrier that we're like, how do you actually explain this to someone who hasn't spent a significant amount of time in it, right? So I think that in the future, we need two things that need to be the absolute backbone of this industry, and that is security and simplicity. And there are new things happening or new layer twos being built for security purposes, like Coinbase now coming out with Base, for example, right? Very security focused, dApp development focused, and what I think that needs to happen is that these kind of scandals that we had, right? So the hacks, etc. Like someone like me, my parents, when I'm working, my parents would send me a random picture from a local newspaper talking about FTX scandal or talking about algorithmic stablecoins, which is a word they somewhere found in some website, right? And then they tell me this and they say, "Do you think you're in the right industry? Aren't you worried?" Right? And it's like, I think those people who work in it and understand what's going on, they see the bigger picture. But those who are outside of it, they only see scandal after scandal. They see 200% price drop in a large cryptocurrency, and they get scared, right? And that's because the way that they adopt the news, they don't see these small projects that are up and coming, that are trying to change things, right? Because everyone just reports on the very big ones going down, especially, and then so in order for mass adoption to occur, I think apart from, of course, breaking down barriers and making new products that users want to use, so having proper product market fit, you need to go into a time without so many scandals. So like these type of things like shouldn't be possible in crypto, because in the real world, when they happen, like they're just as like, maybe we can compare it a little bit with the scandal that happened with Volkswagen, where they were cheating on their diesel engines, right? Because that was also
there's
a
consequences.
scandal in the a real industry scandal that also caused a lot of issues, and eventually it recovered, right? The company recovered, but if they would just keep going with scandals, it would just keep going down, right? So we need a time, maybe a few years without any major hiccups. We need a secure base layer that cannot be easily hacked. And then in my personal opinion, what I'm really like, something that joining crypto really is upsetting is the amount of scammers, right? And the way that it's possible to scam profiles on Telegram, reach out. Like just 2 days ago, I had one of my colleagues text me in Telegram asking for funds and stuff, and it's like they just copy everything. And for that, there's still a solution to be found that secures or protects the users, right? Because imagine someone who's less tech savvy, from like, I don't know, a few years older generation type of person trying to get into crypto, they would just get hit by scammers and
Yeah.
not feel or not, are not trusting this whole system. So this is where it needs to start. Security for users and for the code, and simplicity in the sense that there's a low barrier of adoption, maybe copying some of the traditional finance products that already exist, just to make it simple for people to transition over. And our role, because you also mentioned that, our role in this right now is to make sure that our product is secure, that we as a business, because we can play a small part in the sense that we can be a DEX, Heliswap can be a DEX on Hedera that does not have a scandal, and that operates more like a business, which is also our branding. We're not a corporation, but we are a business. We're not doing
A company.
some
You got
meme
employees.
stuff,
There's
right?
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So we're working on this, because if you want DeFi to be successful on Hedera, and you need to build products that appeal to investors as well as the communities, right? So this is kind of the fine line we're trying to take, being simple, being understandable, but at the same time keeping our branding and our focus on preparing for the future, which is what we're all hoping for, and I'm sure you as well. Hedera exploding at some point, and all of our dApps going with it.
So wow, it's all about layers and iterations towards what's, maybe like you were saying, what's already in place in terms of systems. Because of course people will still need to pay stuff. They will still need to. It's just the technology and how you do things that's going to be much more potent and efficient, faster and less costly for sure. But those new technologies just come in such a new way, in such a new fashion. Yeah, iterations for sure. You did a huge iteration last week, man. You had one hell of a week. It was Heliswap on my Twitter feed, nonstop. That's
good. That's very good.
Yeah. It was really great. I mean, and when you look at the bigger picture, and sometimes I think that's what people do when they don't see it. When you talk about like they only see scandals or whatever because they're zoomed out, right? And us, we're so much zoomed in inside the situation. We're inside. I don't want to use the word bubble because usually people think, it's about the pop, but it's like a sphere, right? Or it's like a playground or whatever. And, it's such a small playground for now. And, out on Hedera, I always say out of fun, I don't know the numbers, but maybe 5,000 people active, truthfully flipping, JPEG staking, whatever, DeFi. And I mean, when you zoom out, it's when you realize, wow, okay, we need to do some education out there. So yeah, 1,000%. Knowing all this, and of course, this will not be a technical analysis. I will not put you on the spot, Max. How do you see like I said, the total landscape, like say crypto, even life, if you want, like this whole landscape of right now, it's kind of a stalemate. Lots of people say that it's boring. To me, it's not. I've never worked so much. I literally do not see my day go, and just talking to amazing people like you who's knowledgeable, education and whatnot. How do you see, not too foreseeable in the future, like 3 weeks in, how do you see Q1's maybe ending, in terms of market situation or general feel on this whole thing we're all in right now?
Well, so talking about the current quarter, just following on what you said, I think we are a little bit in a stalemate situation. Looking at the Hedera or the HBAR price particularly, we have seen a nice increase in the beginning of the year. Now it's kind of like going up and down on like a similar level. I find it really hard to predict where this whole thing is going, because we have seen a little bit of an uplift, but it's not I'm not personally sure yet whether this is the beginning of the bull market or whether this is just some large investors pushing the price a little bit, etc. Right? So I want to be very careful with talking about what's going on with Q1, but what I can talk about and what I can mention is that yes, we are a little bit in like kind of a market downturn at the moment, but I do see an incredible opportunity in it because this is an amazing time to build. And it also means that it's not, the market is not flooded with money and every project is just getting funded and can build whatever they like and then disappear or rug pull. And
Yeah.
it means that those companies who are still here, who are still building, those are like serious businesses or serious dApps, serious project, because they decide to work in a market that you at the moment you don't make the quick $1 million, right? Like right now, people here are not necessarily chasing the money or chasing the money only. They're chasing kind of this mission that we talked about to advance the whole ecosystem to get, for example, for us, it's to get more DeFi products out, right? So we're actually focused on tech rather than just riding a wave and making money. And it means that this whole industry became a little bit more honest. And then those who stayed through this bull cycle, those who wait or who kind of are in it for the long run, they will benefit from it. And I'm sure
1000%.
that we will get back to better times, and then everyone will benefit. And right now we are working on a very frugal approach. We're not trying to just throw money out there. We're trying to build as good as we can in preparation for the future, right? So let's wait maybe a few more months, maybe another year, right? Let's prepare for it. Let's build the right products. And then those companies that prevailed will be the ones that are going to be rising stars. And I really hope that Hedera itself and the projects on it, and this is not just Heliswap, this is other DEXs as well. This is the communities that have been built can benefit from this and grow as well as the market returns.
100%. Mic drop right there. And this is a build market, you know, where you can take your time and just, the ones building right now, you know, and people see, right? People will see and are seeing right now who's still there going at it, you know, and because one follower right now maybe equals 10 later on, and, you know, even Discord or whatever, all socials, and it's definitely a build market. What's lined up for you guys, say, for the next 2 quarters? How do you see it unfolded from the inside?
That's a very good question. So first of all, you just mentioned it that last week we did a lot of announcements. So last week our lock drop ended, which by the way, it was absolutely incredible to see the participation from the community, the trust they have put in Heliswap. The way they helped us to bring Heli to the market with an absolute bang. Just to give you a quick 2 cents on background and also to those watching. So basically over a week time, we had a lock drop pool open where we, from our side, we donate, let's not say donate, but we contributed 20 million Heli tokens, and then users could freely deposit and withdraw their HBAR, which would determine the launch price of Heli. So what we wanted to do is we wanted anyone to participate. We wanted it to be decentralized, easy to use. But then in return, our community came in and put down 15 million HBAR, right? So for us, this was like, it was an absolute wow. Like, guys, what are you doing? Where does all this come from, right? And it just really seems that there's a lot of people who have been kind of following us, who maybe have been a little bit more silent, who knew about this lock drop, and then when the time came, they're there. And like this, we have instantly built a community of Heli token owners, which essentially we're all in it together now. We want this project to succeed, and that's been amazing. We've been preparing the last months about more announcements coming. Just yesterday, we announced a partnership with Fiat, with C14, which is going to do fiat on-ramp for us, starting with HBAR and USDC. So to just make it easier for our users to actually opt into crypto if they're new to it, which again closes the circle with what you mentioned earlier, bringing on maybe users who are not so DeFi savvy. And now over the next months, we have as a very, very big project coming up very soon is the launch of our DAO. So for those who don't know this, Heliswap is actually a DAO in which the governance is owned by the community, about using the Heli token to for example, use the grants pool to give grants for tech development, et cetera, to kind of actively shape the future of Heliswap, because we think that even though we know a decent amount about crypto and we have a really good counsel from the tech side, from the business side, the hive mentality and those users who want to shape the future of Heliswap coming together can make us or prepare us even better to become this company that we want to be, or this project that really shapes the discourse of Hedera in the future, right? And this goes beyond DEX capabilities. So
For sure.
there are some things we're working on that we're not announcing because we don't want we want to keep our little head start with us. But then what's going to happen in the short term after the DAO? We're going to launch single-sided staking with the DAO. So that's going to be great, driving value to our token. And then we have a few more.
Is that like single staking? Am I mistaking if I called it this way?
Yeah, single. Yeah, so basically staking your Heli as one asset, right? So you don't need to go into a liquidity pool. You don't face impermanent loss, but obviously, generally speaking, if you go single-sided, you also have lower APRs than if you were to go in a liquidity pool. But the advantage is you don't need to supply both assets. So that's happening. We are working. We are a beta tester from the Blade wallet. We are working hard on getting them connected with, because we also know that Blade has a large community that kind of follows a similar mission. So our guys from Blade, so shout out to Blade Labs.
Big shout out to them.
They're working also on making
they're building
exactly, and they're doing a very simple user interface on their wallet. They're trying to make it as simple, understandable. So what they're doing with wallets is what we're trying to do with our DEX. So we have a big overlap in making it simple and understandable. And I think together we can bring on more and more users who, like you said earlier, who may not be DeFi native, who are new to it, just by adding simplicity, right? So we're looking forward to that. Working on we're working with Hashboard at the moment on some things. We're working with as you mentioned, also we're working to get MetaMask.
I've seen in the white paper. Let's go. That's huge.
That would be tapping into a completely different world, right? So then it's really, if we can integrate with MetaMask, it's all about reaching those people and showing them what Hedera is, right? Those who don't know yet. So that could be awesome. And then let me just think real quick.
Shit, that's really a lot.
There's a few more things happening in the short run, actually, which I can't announce right now. One important part is that we've been working hard on delivering per user analytics. So whether you come from PancakeSwap or Uniswap, it's not normal, or we yet have to see like a proper good execution of per user analytics, where essentially you're on Heliswap and we give you the data. How much have you earned? How much have you staked into the liquidity pools? How much impermanent loss are you facing, right? Because something like impermanent loss, everyone knows kind of what it is. You have to keep your own Excel and update it frequently to know what's your impermanent loss actually and whether you actually made money. So what we think, rather than trying to give you APYs and kind of trick you into compounding interest values and making you think you earn more than you actually do, we think if we actually give you the full insight and full control over your finances or over your usage of Heliswap, that's going to be power, and that's going to build trust and security. Because yes, it can happen that you use our DEX and you lose money because you do the wrong things, right? But what we can do is we can help you to see this yourself and to then act on it, right? And that kind of goes in line with protecting the community. So that's happening also within the next let's say a few months, because in crypto you're not supposed to say any dates. Right? Because the community, if you don't hit it, the community is going to hold you accountable for it. So let's say
they're gonna write the date, Max. They're gonna write it down.
No, but so there's a big things happening, and among the stealth project. So stay tuned for us. And I see you, or I hear that you see our Twitter, so that's great because that's where we usually announce everything first.
Yeah, traction is there. Traction is present 1,000%, brother, and best of success leading on to the rest of the year, man. Even though it's already started, you seem to be well on the way, man, to have an amazing one. Again, from the outside, I can say that it looks tight. I'm sure it is. You've gained a level of trust inside the ecosystem, AF. Mad respect for everything that you do. It's always fun to have those educational talks, and I'm the student. Thank you again for taking the time.
Thank you for having us and giving us the chance to talk a little bit more. This is, I think, the first conversation we had that goes a little bit or leaves a little bit the focus on the product only approach and talks a little bit more about kind of mission and where we want to be. So this was really fun. Thank you for having me and Heliswap. And don't forget to send me your wallet so that I can give you our newest collab with Hedera.
Hey, with pleasure. That's what it's all about, man. Thank you so much, Mac. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Take care. Max, thank you so much for your presence today on the show. I enjoyed my time as a student on the mic today. I think you're hitting it right on the nose, right on the dot when you're saying that mass adoption of this Web3 thing, NFT thing, DeFi thing will come down to two elements, which are security, how secure it is, how we can do this whole thing now in a secure way. And of course, the other one is ease of use. How easy it is to access this new technology with something we already know, systems in place. We only put it back up with some more fire and accessible for everyone. Hey, barbarians! I will see you on the next show.